everybody, or 5 minutes till noon anyways. It's 11:55 in the Central Time Zone. I'm in southeast Minnesota. I'm on Highway 61 southbound at mile marker 27. So that puts me in Winona, Minnesota. It was raining 20 minutes ago, half hour ago, and now it has turned to snow. We're at 35 degrees air temperature. At least that's what my vehicle says. 35, 34 degrees right in there. It's starting to cool off, and the rain has turned to moderate snow. Like I said, we're in southeast Minnesota. We're on Highway 61. And I'm happy you're with me this morning. Soon to be afternoon. Things should get a little interesting here as the day goes on. Right now, it's not bad at all. I could go the speed limit if I really wanted to. As you can see, in a second here, there'll be a car passing me on the left. I'm going to take a I'm going to take a right turn up here. I'm going to go south on Minnesota Highway 43 off of Highway 61 south. So we'll get through this roundabout here. So now we're on Highway 43 southbound. We'll go up the road here a little bit. We're in the Mississippi River Valley right now, so our elevation is about, roughly 500 feet lower than the ridge tops. So as we drive up there, it's probably been snowing up there for a little bit longer time. There'll be a little bit more snow cover on the roads. So we'll go up to the top of the hill here, and then we'll turn around and come back down. Like I said, the roads are mainly wet right now. This will all change in a few minutes. This area out here is a place where I used to come out and plow snow. Quite a gray day, quite a dark day. But as we start moving up the hill and going up in elevation, you'll notice the air will be a little cooler and it'll have been snowing a little longer. It's been a while since I streamed. Hasn't been much going on over the last month. We had that cold spell before Christmas, and then it warmed up for Christmas, which usually happens. You get a really deep cold snap early December. Usually it flips on you by Christmas, and then it warms up. So most of our snow cover, as you can see, is melted. There's still piles and there's still spots with snow in shady areas, but mainly where the sun was, the snow is melted. like I said, we'll go up the hill here. We're starting to climb a little bit now, so I noticed my turbo starting to kick in, which doesn't happen that often. You know, a lot of people, they don't want a turbocharged engine in their car because the turbo will wear out. Well, if you don't beat the vehicle constantly, your turbo won't come on that often. I can drive around all week in town and the turbo will never come on. If somebody's got a problem up here, looks like they just pulled off the road. Everything looks okay. So if you look up here, there's a spot coming up where everything just changes. Right here. It's just a few degrees cooler and everything changes. My car temperature dropped 2 degrees. It says 32 now in the car. Or not in the car, but outside the car. And up here you notice, right when we get to this curve up here, it changes a little more. Basically gone from wet roads, put it in four-wheel drive here, we've basically gone from wet roads to somewhat snow-covered. We get up to the top up here, look totally different than it did down in town on the river valley. And there have been times where we haven't got any snow in town, and there's been a foot of snow up on the hill here. Almost to the top. And like I said, you can see the difference. It's also gotten a little windier up here. Where I turn off my lane keeping. When you can't see the stripes on the road anymore, it's time to turn it off. Or if it's icy. Because with the lane keeping assist, sometimes you don't know if it's the lane keeping system in the vehicle or if you're sliding. Turn it off, you don't have to worry about it. If you're sliding, you know you're sliding. So as you can see, it's been snowing up here a little bit longer. Now we're coming up on Interstate 90. We'll take a look at it, and then maybe we'll get on it. Right now it just looks a little wet, and the left lane has snow on it. So there's also been a plow out already. So they probably got started about an hour earlier up here with the snow removal crews than they did down in the valley. Go this way here. Park here for a minute, then we'll continue. So once again, this is the Weather Monkey. A lot of traffic on the highway coming from the west. So we'll get on the highway here. Conditions are supposed to get worse as we go into the afternoon and evening. As you can see, this has been salted. You got to kind of pick the speed you feel comfortable with when the weather's like this and the road conditions are like this, because you can go from having good traction to instantly having no traction at all. Like I said, I'm going 50 miles an hour, and that's about as fast as I want to go. I mean, I could go faster, but I really have no reason to. And if you go faster, that's, your stopping distance changes, your traction changes. I do have my vehicle in four-wheel drive. I do have a rear locker. I could put that on, but I don't think the conditions call for that yet. south, which is the same road that Interstate 90 is for a few miles. I don't know what's causing that vibration right now. Well, this ramp's been plowed already. We'll head eastbound on Interstate 90. Somebody went in the ditch already. We just went by there and there was nobody in the ditch. He's trying to get out. He might, if he keeps that car moving, straight instead of trying to climb out, he might get out. There's not that much snow on the ground yet. He's got that car sideways now, looking in my rearview mirror. He's not going anywhere. Problem is, you know, you'd love to go back and help the guy, but if it's slippery enough there that he went in the ditch, the next person that comes up on him and sees him is going to put their brakes on, and they're going to end up in the same position. There's a plow truck right here. Up a little bit in here because I was noticing some ice forming on my windshield, so I think I've got it warm enough in here I can turn it down. So we get off here and we'll go back. heading back westbound on Interstate 90, south of Winona, Minnesota. Marker 252. So 252 miles from South Dakota Minnesota border. We should be coming up on that vehicle that went off the highway up here around this curve. Shocked if the person got out of the ditch. No, he's in the ditch. Put his brakes on and just went sideways. Looks like a brand new car. We'll take Winona County Road 12.
Suzanne Cooper, FaceTime video.
The snow's starting to pick up a little bit more and the wind is starting to have an effect.
Suzanne Cooper, FaceTime video. Suzanne Cooper.
Yeah, would somebody call her and tell her to stop calling me?
Suzanne.
You would think if, somebody didn't answer the phone, you would just say, well, they're busy and I'll call them back later.
Suzanne Cooper.
I'm probably going to mute the stream and answer the phone. Because if I don't, it's going to just keep ringing. I don't want to talk on the phone when I'm driving in slippery roads in the snow.
Suzanne Cooper.
So I'm going to mute
FaceTime
the
video.
stream and I'll be back in a minute. So we're getting off Winona County 12 and getting back on Minnesota 43 North. This road's actually had a blade on it already. So we'll head back down into the valley and see how much conditions have deteriorated since we came out of the valley. heading into the valley now. Hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday afternoon. As you can see, in the upper Midwest, the weather is deteriorating. With a chance to get 6-7 inches of snow between now and tomorrow morning. Roads are starting to get snow covered, but not like up on Interstate 90. Temperature's gone up a degree since we left the ridge tops. And as you can see, we're starting to see more pavement than snow. As you can see here, there's no snow on the road at all. So I think I can probably turn off my four-wheel drive up here. these snow rates this afternoon are supposed to be 2 to 3 inches an hour. And then the wind is supposed to pick up. If you're watching, don't forget to like. When you like a stream you're watching, hit that thumbs up button. It tells YouTube that people are interested, and it pushes it out to more YouTube channels, not channels but viewers, to have the opportunity to click on it and watch it. You can't click on it if it's not there, so. So now we're back in town. I'm going to buy some gas over here. Give myself a little bit more weight. I already have about 400 pounds in the back of the truck. If I buy some gas, I'll have more. Set this up on my phone. Go to my Sinclair app. Pay at the pump, Sugarloaf. Pay at the pump. Pump number 5. Activate pump. And begin fueling. So let me shut the vehicle off here real quick and get my fuel. Okay. So, taking care of that. So let's move on. Sound's working. Let's move on. So as you can see, the roads are a little bit cleaner down in the valley here. When I bought gas back there, I shut everything off. I used to leave the ignition in accessory mode, but I was watching a YouTube video a few weeks ago, and Except with newer cars, there's a lot of mechanics going on when you're filling your vehicle up with fuel, as far as fuel vapors and charcoal canisters, all the stuff that make your fuel tank work right, and they need to all be shut off when you're buying fuel. And if you leave your vehicle in accessory mode, they stay on. And certain things don't work right when they're on and you're putting fuel in your car. So I make sure everything's off now when I buy fuel. So the snowflakes are getting a little bigger. We'll take this surface street here for a little bit, and then I'll get back out on the highway. Turn my defroster up a little bit. I noticed some ice starting to form on the wipers. Sometimes you gotta keep your car's windshield a little warmer than you're comfortable with to keep the snow from collecting on the wiper blades. Any slower across the road. I was going to go walk earlier, but it was raining. Not fun walking in a cold rain. Actually, now probably wouldn't be a bad time. Sure some people wish we would have gotten this snow a week ago instead of the warm spell. we'll get back on Highway 61 here and go north a little bit out of Winona, up towards Wabasha. As you can see, this road is pretty much just wet. I'm sure it's been some salt put on it already. But it's definitely better than the interstate. Good view. Trying to remember what mile marker we're at on Highway 61 northbound. Trying to think if it's like 37, 38. I don't remember. I think there's one. Should be a post coming up here pretty quick. But as you can see, the road is in pretty good shape. There hasn't been a whole lot of snow falling here yet. Not compared to up on the ridge. Okay, here comes a mile marker. Almost looks like there's a little bit of rain mixing in with the snow here. starting to show up on the road. We've gone up probably 100 feet. Plus we're heading northwest. Getting a little heavier. Just wet roads 3 miles ago to now they're becoming snow covered. And you really got to pay attention because a few minutes ago you had plenty of traction and all of a sudden you don't have any. Somebody wants to come flying by you, slow down and give them the room. How quickly things can change. Driven up this road a few times with snow, passing Lock and Dam 5A right now. The only lock and dam system on the Mississippi River with an A. It's Lock and Dam 5. Lock and Dam 5A is a little bit farther back. 5A was put in after the major lock and dam system. So they wanted to squeeze another dam in, so they had to call it 5A. So that's lock and dam 5 back there. Right here. But we're also about 75 feet lower, closer to the river than we were back where it was snow covered. I'll go a little farther up here and then I'll turn around and head back. It's actually been plowed. Like I said earlier, if you'd hit that like button, I'd appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Just out here for a little Sunday afternoon drive in the snow. Looks like everybody's driving in the right lane and nobody wants to venture out in the left lane. There was about 6 cars going really slow before I made the U-turn to come back. We'll see if we catch up to them. I see somebody started passing. Yeah, I'm starting to catch up to them. So we'll join the convoy. We're not in any hurry to get around them, so. Down about 50 feet closer to the river, and there's not as much snow. Plus we're heading southeast, which every couple miles we go southeast, it's a little warmer. Outside temperature right now says it's 32 degrees on AccuWeather, but my vehicle says it's 34. So I tend to believe my vehicle right down here by the river, it's probably 2 degrees warmer. So we'll just stay behind this group unless they get really slow, and then we'll pass them. Like I said, we're really not in any hurry. The road is improving, so some of these people have been following for probably several miles back where the snow was heavier, and now the road's improving, so they're starting to pass up this one slow car. And it could be a combination of things why they're driving slow. Could be a less experienced driver in the snow, could be the type of vehicle, could be the tires on the vehicle. There's all kinds of different reasons. New tires this time of year make a big difference. So everyone's passing them. We'll give it another couple minutes behind them. I think the highway will improve enough that we won't have to drive through the little bit of snow that's to the left. They seem to be picking up their speed anyways. notice right in this spot through here, the snowflakes are bigger, and they were bigger when we went north too, before we turned around and started heading south on 61. Notice the snowflakes have gotten much bigger. Just looking at the radar, I noticed there's a gap about 40 miles to the west where there's no snow. I'm sure that'll fill in as this low pressure system deepens. The snow will intensify and so will the wind. The question is, how much farther east will it get before it deepens? And how fast will it move east, northeast? If it just starts deepening and picks up speed and gets out of this area quicker, our snow amounts will be a lot less. Like I said, we had rain this morning, probably an eighth to a quarter inch of rain before it started snowing. This person's just going a little ridiculously slow now. They're going 30 miles an hour. So I'm guessing they don't have very good tires on that vehicle. And from what I can see coming out the back, you know, if you have really knobby good tires on your vehicle, the rear tires, they'll make a really good rooster tail in snow like this. And they don't have mud flaps on, and it's barely coming up behind the vehicle. So we're getting a little lower, a little closer to the elevation of the river now, so we're probably going to go back to just wet roads. We'll see here in a minute. Yeah, right around this corner. So I'll pass them here. I don't see any reason to keep following them. Sometimes that standing slush on the highway is worse than packed snow. We'll see how much actual snow we get out of this system. Even with the sun as low in the sky as it is, some of that radiation from the sun is still making it through the clouds. It's still heating the road surfaces up just enough through here to keep the snow from accumulating. 33 degrees with a little bit of sun radiation on dark pavement will keep the road surface 1 or 2 degrees above freezing for a sustained amount of time. And you can tell right when the sun's starting to get low enough in the sky where it doesn't help the roads any, because all of a sudden they'll just turn white with snow on them. It's that 1 degree or 2 degrees makes a big difference. We're back into that spot again, and we're not going to see any more snow on the road for a while, just because we're only a few feet off the river level and we're farther southeast. back to just wet road. through this area and you'll see a car and it'll have 2-3 inches of snow on the hood. And the people that live in this area, their grass won't even be covered. I'm like, where are they coming from? So a lot of times that's a good sign that there's snow up on the ridges or outlying areas away from the Mississippi River. When you see vehicles driving through this area and they have several inches of snow on them, you know they came from somewhere not too far away, but higher elevation. No doubt that this road has salt on it. So what's the flavor of the day at Culver's? Butter pecan. $2026 calendars, $10, over $70 in coupons. I don't know, that sounds like a good deal to me. You go to the store and buy a calendar, it costs you $10. But they're once a month coupons for every month, every page has a different coupon. And I don't go there enough to make it worth my while. Like the farther east and south we go through here, there's more snow. Definitely more than there was an hour ago. See what this county plow's doing. It's gonna go up the hill. So the snow is starting to accumulate. You can hear that on the roof of the vehicle underneath these trees. It's still warm enough that the snow's melting on the branches. We'll go up the hill and then we'll come back down. Just to get an idea what it looks like up here. I know you can't tell on the camera, but this hill's a lot steeper than you think it is. I think it goes up about 550 feet in a mile. My back end kind of slipped back there. But I don't have it in four-wheel drive. Going this slow, I'll probably have to put it in four-wheel drive because being behind this vehicle and this plow truck in front of me, you constantly slow down and speed up. My back end's spinning just a bit. Let's put it this way, I'm going up this hill slow enough that the turbo's not even engaging. Back window open. About 3/4 up to the top now. Slipping a little bit here. But like I said, I haven't put the vehicle in four-wheel drive. Probably will need it right here. I mean, he's putting salt and sand down, mostly sand. But when it's all ground in with all the snow, you don't get the best traction with it. I'll turn here and then head back down. We'll pretty much go around the block here. So as you can see, there's probably about 1.5 inches of snow here. And down in the valley, there was maybe a 1/2 inch. I never realized there's not a stop sign at this corner. I used to live on the left here, a couple houses. And I never came this way. It's been many, many years, but I guess there's never been a stop sign there. Yeah, there might be 2 inches here. Like somebody dropped their blade on the way out. Doesn't look like it was wide enough to be a city plow. But I used to do that. If I was the first one out of an area when I'm plowing snow, I mean, there's no point in doing the person's driveway if they can't get any farther. So I would, if I knew the road was smooth without any manhole covers sticking up, I would just leave the blade down to get to the busier road. Especially if there was a person that had to get to a doctor or something like that, they had a doctor's appointment. You know, you go, you do their driveway. And if you don't make it accessible to the main road from their road in front of their house, what's the point? So I dropped the blade, just make it a little easier for them when they left. I'm going to put it in 4-wheel drive here, just because I want the wheels working on the snow. Because you start sliding, there's nowhere to go. If you're just joining me, we are going downhill. I know the camera doesn't really show, but so I lived up on this hill for, I don't think it was quite 10 years, it's probably close. And at the time I never had a 4-wheel drive vehicle. I had a front wheel drive for a while. not a four-wheel drive. And I only remember getting stuck coming up the hill once. And I was actually in a panel van. So they keep this road pretty darn good. But you don't want to slide. Saw, I think it was a squirrel run across the road. This right here is where most people get in trouble, right at the bottom. This here is actually the old highway. I'm talking from the 40s, 50s. get back over here on Highway 61 South. And we'll go south a little bit. Don't forget to hit that like button. That'll help the YouTube algorithms push my stream out to more people. So as you can see, the road is snow covered. Should have went to the next intersection, because the next intersection is where one state highway department ends its district and the other one, of course, picks up. And a lot of times you can tell right where they end their maintenance, and the other district picks up the maintenance. I'll drive over there. I'll just take this back road. This is the old Highway 61. But we'll go down there and see if we can tell the difference. Where we're going to is probably, well, it's the northern end of that area's district for maintenance. And it's, I'm guessing it's the Dresbach Maintenance District or Garage. And then from that area north, it's the Winona Maintenance District for highways. So you have your state districts that take care of the state highways, and then you have your county districts, or townships, basically county townships that take care of the roads in their township. And then if you have, of course, city roads and streets that the city takes care of. So roads are covered. No pun intended. And there are some that overlap. Like this is, I'm sure this is a county road here we're on. Back north here. So now we'll go northbound on US Highway 61, which parallels the Mississippi River in this area. And we'll just see up here at this intersection if the road maintenance is any different. Four-wheel drive. We don't need four-wheel drive anymore. Okay. This is where things change, and actually they can't really, well, on the left-hand lane you can tell. So something's going on up here. I see a lot of emergency lights. Could be just the plow trucks, but they don't look like they're doing anything here because the road isn't any better. So we'll see. Change lanes here. Slow down just a bit. Looks like somebody slid off the road. Yeah, somebody's car went off the road. Looks like they actually hit a tree. But as you can see, the road is totally different than it was back there where that maintenance section ends for that portion of Highway 61, and the newer maintenance, not newer, but different maintenance districts started. roundabout up here. Go back through that section again. Pull in here, and I think I'll end the stream in a minute when I get through this parking lot. I'd have to go back out again. So I think I'm going to end the stream. If things get worse or things change between now and later today, if I go back out again, I will start the stream again. Find myself a place to park over here. So, let me shut my stream down. Okay, so everybody have a good afternoon, and like I said, if things change, I might go back out again. I'm not sure. Looks like the snow's going to be letting up here in a little bit. That heavier band that was going through is almost done. So if we don't get any filling in on the back side, we're not going to end up with much out of this, but we'll just have to wait and see. So until next time, everybody have a good Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas and looking forward to the new year. We'll see you again. Thank you, everybody. Bye.